everybody, Cat here, and welcome to another video. So I decided to react to Applebloom gets her cutie mark. Okay, let's go. Ninja squirrel.
Story time.
Okay, story time. Oh, excuse me.
Applejack, Applejack! Applebloom squealed, running up to her sister, who was busting apples. What is it, Applebloom? Applejack asked in bewilderment. The most awesome thing just happened, Applebloom replied, hopping up and down.
What
You just
happened?
gotta come see. Applebloom, I'm sorta busy. But you gotta come now, before you miss it. Applejack glanced at her basket of apples, and then sighed. All right, where are we going? She asked the filly. Sugar Cube Corner, Applebloom said, trotting ahead of her sister to lead. Applejack frowned, her heart giving an unpleasant jerk. Pinkie Pie's sisters were there. Pinkie Pie's there, right? She asked quickly. Yeah, it's her who has the surprise. Why don't y'all just tell me what's going on? Applebloom turned to Applejack impatiently. Then it wouldn't be a surprise, would it? Now hurry up. Applejack hurried after Applebloom, anxious to see what
Under
all the
B's
fuss was about.
scarf, it has Doctor
The
Who's
two
cutie
ponies
mark.
came to Sugar Cube Corner, which was completely empty inside. Not even Mr. and Mrs. Cake
Is
were
this
there.
like a
In
cupcake?
fact, noticing that the lights were off, Applejack assumed the entire bakery had been closed. But why? What's going on? Applejack asked softly,
One of
as
these.
if afraid she'd disturbed
Okay.
something. Applebloom led her behind.
This is another continuation of the cupcakes fanfic, where he kills Rainbow Dash. Steals her cutie mark.
Counter, opening a very well-hidden nook under the floorboard. Applejack saw that there was a button, and Applebloom pressed it with her hoof, making a door swing right out of the wall. It had blended in so well, Applejack was startled when she saw it. What the? She muttered. Well, come on, Applebloom urged loudly, and hurried down the stairs of the secret cellar.
Oh
Applejack
gosh.
followed, closing the door behind her, and slowly descended into pitch-black darkness. Applebloom? She hissed nervously. Applebloom, I can't see anything. Applejack was interrupted by a very hard blow to the head, and she collapsed to the floor. When Applejack finally managed to come around, she saw that it was no longer dark in the cellar. It was dim, but light enough for her to see the room around her. It became immediately clear to her that something was wrong. The entire place was decorated with party decorations, the kind Pinkie Pie would normally put up, but they didn't look right. They were dark and covered in some sort of crusty grime. She also noticed skulls of ponies. So many ponies. Oh, Celestia, Applejack said weakly, noticing the shapes and the sizes of the skulls. There were foals, mares, stallions, and a single one with a beak. It was the skull of a griffin.
Oh yeah.
Hilda? Good morning, AJ! It's a brand new day! Wake up, it's time to play! Sang a familiar, jubilant voice.
Time
The
to
pink
play.
pony bounded in front of Applejack excitedly, wearing a party hat that looked as though it was made out of pony hide, as well as a strange dress. Pinkie Pie? Applejack croaked urgently, making to move, but cried out in excruciating agony. She looked at herself and noticed she was chained down. However, the chains weren't holding her limbs. They were going through them. Applejack couldn't move without triggering another jolt of pain through her arms and legs. Along with the ones tearing at her muscles and bones, there were also chains strapped over her hips and neck, and she was very glad that those weren't penetrating her body. Just then, more ponies emerged from the darkness, all wearing party hats similar to Pinkie Pie's. With a gasp, Applejack saw the other three pie sisters, Derpy and Applebloom. She suddenly noticed that all 6 of them were wearing peculiar articles of clothing. Pinkie Pie's dress was made of stitched-up cutie marks, a necklace of unicorn horns, and on her back were many different colors of Pegasus wings. Derpy had a rather long scarf wrapped around her neck, and it too was composed of cutie marks.
Rather long scarf from the doctor.
Vest, also made from cutie marks.
Trying to do anything to make it happy because it's creepy.
Even more marks created socks for Pinkie Pie. And Applebloom? Applebloom? Applejack exclaimed, seeing that her little sister was wearing an apron that was stitched together like the other pony's clothing, but in addition, there was a brand new bow in her mane to match. It was a terrifying sight, and if it didn't hurt so much, Applejack would have been struggling to free herself. Hiya, sis, said Applebloom happily, clopping her front hooves on the floor in excitement.
What's going on? Applejack whimpered. If I had a bit for every time I heard that,
said Inky Pie softly, and the others laughed.
Applebloom said you were one of the strongest ponies in Ponyville,
said Derpy, fluttering closer and landing next to the filly.
So we said we'd use chains instead of strappies, but Applebloom said you'd still get out. So Minky Pie said, let's put them through her arms and legs. And it worked,
Pinkie Pie added. Applebloom leapt up and grabbed Applejack's hat, placing it on her own head.
I think this is mine now,
she giggled.
You won't be needing it.
Sugar Cube,
Oh, I'm gonna
please
barf.
tell me what's happening. Why y'all have me chained up like this? Applejack pleaded.
Hey Blinky,
said Pinkie Pie to one of her sisters.
can you bring Rainbow Dash over here? I'm sure AJ is just dying to see her again.
She giggled, and Applejack's eyes widened. Rainbow Dash? She shouted, but her astonished expression turned to horror, and she immediately started sobbing when she saw one of her best friends, the Pegasus that had been missing for months, taxidermied right before her eyes. There were still bloodstains in the fur.
Oh, look, Applejack, look how happy Dash is to see you,
cried Pinkie, grabbing the stuffed pony and turning it to face her terrified friend.
Oh.
What did you do to her? She murmured, almost too upset to get the words out.
Applejack,
said Applebloom suddenly, as Pinkie Pie started ballroom dancing with Rainbow Dash.
did you ever wonder why Pinkie Pie's cupcakes tasted so good? 'Cause we've been putting a little something extra in them. And then we started baking other stuff,
said Derpy happily.
and we shared our yummy yums with every pony in town.
You tell me that all this time you've been making cupcakes out of all our friends? Applejack shouted, finding her confidence again, the feeling of rage drowning out her fear.
Yep, and other stuff too. Don't forget that.
Said Pinkie Pie.
But it started with just cupcakes. Ever since I came to Ponyville, every pony has been enjoying my fresh baked cupcakes. But we didn't start baking ponies and other things until Derpy joined us.
Applebloom, how in Equestria did you get into this mess? Applejack exclaimed at her innocent-looking sister.
Funny story, actually.
Applebloom replied.
You see, round 1 or 2 years ago, I seen Miss Pinkie Pie dragging an unconscious stallion behind Sugar Cube Corner. I wasn't very discreet back then,
Pinkie admitted with a giggle.
so I followed,
The filly continued.
and I saw her pulling him into a hole in the ground. The tunnel led right in this here basement, but later on, we filled it back up 'cause we installed that door. Anywho, I followed Pinkie Pie down the hole and saw her strapping that stallion to a table. But wouldn't you know, she saw me, nearly started crying. I asked her what she was doing, but Pinkie kept saying she didn't want to get rid of me for being a witness, and I got scared. I was so young back then, I could barely understand what the hey she was doing. But when I told her I wouldn't be upset, she explained everything. Pinkie Pie told me how her and her sisters made cupcakes when they were fillies, and then said that her special ingredient was other ponies.
Applebloom went on.
I was a little scared at first, but then that stallion woke up and Pinkie started showing me what she did. I didn't know why, but it fascinated me so much I decided I wanted to help. I didn't think I'd be any good, but I sure proved myself wrong. I thought maybe I'd get my cutie mark this way. Even when Pinkie Pie taught me how to finally bake the cupcakes, I got nothing. So I figured, maybe this is just for fun. Maybe my cutie mark is supposed to be something else. I keep trying though. I keep hoping something down here will happen that'll finally get me my cutie mark. It's too bad you won't be around to see it come, sis.
Applebloom, this is nuts! Applejack shouted, wincing as her slight movement tugged on the chains a bit. You know what you're doing, right? You're killing ponies!
You're a murderer! I can't believe it's been you guys all along. All them ponies gone missing, disappearing.
Yeah, you'd think ponies would have caught on.
Said Pinkie Pie with a wicked smile.
That's because ponies are stupid, like in Ponyville. Not all ponies, but like Ponyville people can be stupid.
And that also jolly Pinkie Pie.
Applejack looked over at Inky, Blinky, and Minky. I knew something just wasn't right about you three, she spat, but all three sisters grinned evilly. Oh goodness, were we that obvious? Said Inky Pie in sarcastic sadness.
But Applejack,
Minky Pie said in her quiet voice.
you said that you'd take care of me.
Yeah, well, I honestly wanted to be your friend, you psycho, but I guess that ain't happening, snapped Applejack. She looks
Ooh.
back at Pinky. And you've gone and corrupted my sister. And Derpy, too. I refuse to believe she understands what she's been doing. A very scary
I'm
expression of
untying this
anger
in a
flashed
plug.
across Derpy's face,
Plug,
and she
tie.
stepped forward.
I liked you.
She growled, almost as soft as Minky Pie.
Always. You always was nice to me. Always said hello to me. And always was helping me when I have trouble with something. But you think Derpy don't understand what Derpy is doing.
Well, Applejack, I don't understand so good with some things, but I understand what all us is doing. Derpy is baking with her friends. Derpy is having fun making muffins from ponies. Derpy is being happy when the ponies are screaming in pain.
Derpy, Applejack whimpered, horrified. Shut up! Derpy shrieked, and Applejack flinched, yelping in pain as the chains were tugged by her jolt. Derpy lifted herself into the air, glaring down at Applejack with malice.
I hate it when ponies say I don't understand what I'm doing. They call Derpy a retard, or say Derpy is slow. I just don't understand so good. I don't see so good, and I don't fly so good. You think so too, right? You think Derpy is slow.
Applejack couldn't respond, too frightened to even open her mouth. Derpy glared for a few more seconds, and then flew over to Minky Pie,
Whoa.
landing next to her with a clatter of her hooves.
Corrupted me?
Said Applebloom finally, starting to pace in front of her sister.
I don't think I needed corruption. I think this was all meant to happen. Everything happens for a reason, right? That's why I was the one who volunteered to take you when your number came up.
You volunteered? Applejack exclaimed in disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
Replied Applebloom.
One last bit of bonding, right, sis?
You know how much I love spending time with you. And how you gonna explain this to every pony? She shouted. They'll all know I'm missing, just like Rainbow Dash.
Yeah, but they didn't try too hard looking for her, did they?
Applebloom sneered.
Or any pony else for that matter. You ran away before, didn't you? All I have to do is stop crying and say you took off without explanation, and poof, you're gone.
Tears streamed down Applejack's eyes as they fell upon her dead friend, Rainbow Dash, then her insane friend, Pinkie Pie, and finally her own sister, whom she loved and cared for. The sister that was going to take her life. Applebloom, I beg you, Applejack said softly, surprisingly calm. Don't go through with this. Back out. Leave all this behind, and you and I can run away. Start our own apple farm in the country and never speak of this again.
Aren't you already in the country?
Her lip giving a little tremble, and Applejack flashed a loving smile. However, her smile fell when the filly started laughing.
I can't believe you fell for that!
She snorted.
You really thought I was considering it. Oh, jeez. Why are the honest ones always so gullible?
Applejack couldn't help it. She began to sob, whimpering from the pain in her limbs, her heart filled with sorrow as her sister continued to laugh. It wasn't any kind of laugh she had ever heard from Applebloom. It was wicked, frightening, and malicious. She's such a good actor, Blinky Pie cooed. The whole thing was cedar, and now this. I'm jealous. Applebloom smirked proudly, expressing her triumph with a light hop.
Enough talk.
She said, and the other ponies closed in on the torture table.
It's time to party.
Applejack looked to each face quickly, and then took a deep breath. Help! She screamed, but to her dismay, her keepers started cackling again.
Soundproof.
Pinkie Pie giggled.
We're underground and there's padding in the walls. Seriously, did you think you're the only one who's cried for help?
Applejack hung her head in defeat, still sobbing, but trying her best to keep still.
All right.
Applebloom exclaimed.
What should we do, girls, after I get her cutie marks? Let's play dress up,
said Derpy happily.
That's a fantastic idea.
Pinkie squeaked, and Minkie Pie began rolling their tool cart into their work area. Pinkie Pie, Applejack sniffled. Please
How
don't
long is
do
this?
I'm your friend,
Oh wow, it's 30
That's what
minutes.
makes it even better.
Pinkie Pie replied.
It's much more fun to play with friends. Dashie and I had loads of fun, didn't we, Dashie?
She turned to the stuffed Rainbow Dash, and then giggled.
Oh, she's a little shy since she doesn't have her cutie marks anymore.
Applejack let out an enraged shriek, and despite the pain, she started struggling against the chains. The room was full of snapping and ripping sounds as Applejack's arms and legs broke, as well as her screams of pain and fury. She wanted to hurt Pinkie Pie, something she had never wanted to do. Uh-oh, Derpy cried suddenly.
She's getting frayed.
She won't be able to stand the pain for too much longer, Inky said without concern, a wicked smirk on her face.
Where's Inky?
No matter how angry she is. Inky Pie had
I
been
don't see
right.
Inky in the
Even though
picture.
Applejack's hatred had fueled her adrenaline, the pain in her limbs was much too great. She fell limp, noticing she no longer could move her arms and legs, for they were completely broken.
Well then,
Said Applebloom.
that certainly was a show, Applejack, but we ain't here for dramatics. We're here to play.
Applebloom took the scalpel off of the table and walked over to her sister's right flank.
Let's make you remember what it's like to be a blank blank.
She started slowly carving a circle around the 3 apples, blood immediately oozing from the incision. Applejack whimpered and gasped in pain, but gritted her teeth to try and bear it. Once she had detached one cutie mark, Applebloom proceeded to removing the other one. When she finished, she took the hat from her head, set it upside down on the table, and put both cutie marks inside. Beautiful job, darling, exclaimed Blinkie Pie, doing an impeccable impression of Rarity.
Why, thank you, Blinkie Pie,
Said Applebloom happily, and she turned back to her distraught and broken sister.
but we ain't done nothing yet. Can I give her a haircut?
Asked Derpy, holding up a rusty razor blade.
Go ahead, just make sure you don't cut yourself.
Applebloom replied. As she started fiddling with her tools, Derpy flew over and gripped Applejack's ponytail in her mouth. She swung the blade down, but missed the hair, slashing her cheek instead. Applejack yelped from the new source of pain.
Oopsie!
Derpy giggled through a mouthful of blonde mane.
I'm so clumsy. I guess I'm not so smart, huh, Applejack?
Derpy tried again, but only managed to slice the tip of the pony's ear off. Still sobbing, Applejack came to the conclusion that Derpy was missing on purpose.
Oopsie!
She said again.
I just don't know what went wrong.
After a third cut, Applejack's ponytail was severed, leaving her mane much shorter. Derpy chopped her tail as an addendum.
Ooh, super savvy!
Pinkie Pie cried, helping Applebloom assemble an unknown something together.
Rarity would be proud.
Applebloom added. Derpy did a few flips in the air before returning to the floor to see what the others were doing. Got some leftover fish hooks over here, said Blinkie Pie, holding one large hook in each hook. What do you think? Those would make lovely earrings, Inkie Pie replied. Blinkie trotted over to Applejack, humming merrily, and then carelessly shoved the hooks into each earlobe. Applejack didn't scream, but made a small squeak sound as she flinched.
She's already got a chain collar around her neck,
Said Applebloom thoughtfully.
Maybe a crown?
She and Pinkie had managed to rig up a messy crown made of razor blades tied together with twine. Appleblossom handed it to Derpy, who flew over and jammed it on Applejack's head as hard as she could. A sharp scream echoed once again around the room.
We can stick nails to the links of the neck chain,
Pinkie Pie suggested, holding up a box of nails.
Great thinking,
Applebloom chirped, and she took the box from the pink pony and approached her sister. Applejack watched the filly, her heart broken, wishing this was all just a nightmare. How could her innocent little Applebloom be so sadistic? Her thoughts were torn away from the pain in her heart and replaced with pain in her neck as nails slowly
God, I
punctured
swear
her.
I'm gonna barf.
Applebloom was sticking the nails through the chain links, pushing them right into Applejack's skin, but was careful to avoid hitting the jugular vein. She didn't want her to bleed out before they were finished. Once she was done, Applebloom stood back to admire her work. Trails of blood streaked down Applejack's body, staining her fur. Applebloom tilted her head for a moment, and then took the chain on Applejack's left leg, detaching it. Before Applejack could register what had happened, she cried out in agony once more, for Applebloom had yanked the chain as hard as she could, breaking the leg clean off. It fell to the floor with a soft thump.
Do we got any wooden sticks?
She asked the other ponies.
We can give her a peg leg. I have a bone.
Pinkie Pie squeaked,
Why?
and she trotted over to a shelf that had many pony skulls, as well as other parts, and brought back what looked like a femur bone. Applebloom took it, and then grabbed some duct tape from the toolbox, wrapping it around Applejack's leg many times to attach the bone securely.
Pirate!
Derpy exclaimed, and suddenly jabbed a screwdriver in Applejack's right eye. Her voice cracked as she let out another wail, Derpy digging the screwdriver into the eye socket.
I spy with my little eye.
Oh.
She said over Applejack's screams, and finally managed to pop the eye out. She held it in her hoof as if it was an Easter egg she had been trying to find.
The eye string thing! Hey, Pinkie, what is the eye string thing called again? Optical nerve, silly!
Pinkie Pie replied with a laugh,
What?
and then trotted
Okay.
over with a pair of scissors to sever the nerve. Derpy giggled, waving the eye in front of Applejack's face, which was drenched in tears and blood.
Optical nerve. See, AJ? Optical nerve.
So I guess that means we're going to need an eye patch, said Blinky Pie, sifting through all of the junk in the box. I can't seem to find one, Pinkamena.
So what do we do?
Asked Minky in a falsely defeated tone. It's simple, my dears, Inky Pie replied with an evil smirk. We improvise. She held up a medieval choke pear. Said Applebloom thoughtfully, and continued to dig in the box.
I actually was thinking of something pretty. Like, ooh,
Applebloom pulled out a blue cocktail umbrella with her mouth.
how about it?
Inky Pie looked a little disappointed. All right, she's your sister, I suppose, she mumbled. Applebloom grabbed a bottle of superglue and walked back over to Applejack. If you're going to kill me, just do it, she murmured hoarsely.
What's the fun in that?
Hang on. Oh wait, you can't. I took it off.
Applebloom giggled, and she squirted glue on the inside rim of the umbrella, then stuck it into Applejack's eye socket, holding it in place to make sure it stayed. Applejack winced at the stinging sensation from the adhesive, but as it dried, the pain subsided.
There. Now that's what I call a pirate.
The other ponies clapped their hooves together. Applebloom, Applejack whispered, her voice seeming to lack breath.
I'm glad this
Billy
isn't
smiled.
animated.
Yeah?
She replied sweetly.
You're my little sis, she sniffled, her head pounding, body aching, and heart torn to shreds. I love you. Even after all this, I still love you. But I beg of you, Applebloom, please, please,
Stop
don't
it.
do this to any pony else after me. Please give this all up. It ain't right. This ain't you, Applebloom. It just ain't.
I know what you're talking about, AJ. Of course this is me. I haven't changed a hair since I started, except getting better at the trade, of course.
What will your friends think when they find out? Applejack croaked. Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo, they ain't gonna be your friends no more.
Aw, shucks, sis. You sure are a Debbie Downer.
Applebloom giggled.
Their number shouldn't come up for a long time.
You're actually gonna kill your best friends?
They'll get special treatment just like you did. Don't worry about them. The friends and family discount!
Pinkie Pie sang happily.
But I'm sad because I'm pretty sure Rarity, Fluttershy, and Twilight aren't gonna line up for a while either. Oh well, the longer the wait, the more they'll pay straight.
Tears continued to slide down Applejack's cheeks as she hung her head. She had given up all hope, not even caring whether she lived or died. The fact that her other best friends, plus many more, were going to die soon after her, brought her more sadness.
What happens
than
whenever they
anything
run out of
else ever
ponies?
could.
What do you say we wrap things up, girls?
Said Applebloom to her fellow teammates.
Ooh, we should perform for her.
Derpy cried suddenly.
We can sing our new song. Gosh, do you think we're ready?
Asked Applebloom nervously.
I think we've got in enough practice.
Said Pinkie Pie with a wide smile.
Besides, this is Applejack. She deserves to see our first official performance. I'm so nervous but excited.
Said Derpy with a tremble.
Nervous-sided!
Pinkie sang, and Applebloom ran across the room to get some large object
Pinkie Pie
leaning
still
against the wall.
says
When
the
she returned,
same.
Applejack
So
saw
does
that it was an
Applebloom and
acoustic guitar.
Derpy. They all say
Look,
the
Applejack,
She
same.
said,
It's
strumming a single
weird.
chord.
They have like the
I can
same
learn to play
personality, but they're
guitar. We all
twisted.
wrote this song together. I hope you like it.
As Applebloom tuned the guitar, Minkie Pie stepped forward and shot a syringe in Applejack's abdomen. Blinky added a second shot in the chest. At last, Applebloom began to play, and the six of them started to sing.
Trying to stay as happy as I can because this is creepy. I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Raise your hopes up in the air if you dare. Remember how you smile now. The fun never ends, not even when you're dead. So turn from the way things are. Stay the sky. Now come on, let's have some fun. We will stop until we find your heart will stop beating and you're dead. Not even when you're dead.
By the time the song ended, Applejack could no longer feel her body, but somehow was energized, as if she hadn't just spent the last hours screaming while enduring
Oh, it's been an
gratuitous
hour?
amounts of torture.
Okay.
Nevertheless, her fear escalated again once Applebloom took the scalpel and made an incision on her abdomen.
Well, Applejack,
Minky Pie whispered, standing close to Applebloom so that she could get a good view.
what did you think of our song? We worked oh so very hard to get it right.
It was great.
She admitted sadly, sniffing helplessly. It was very great.
Yay!
Derpy squealed, running around in a circle.
Did you hear that, Pinkie Pie? Our song was great! Fantastic!
Pinkie exclaimed.
We'll definitely have to perform it more often. All right,
Cheered Applebloom, and she opened the skin flap she had made on Applejack's belly.
let's finish up. Who's got the bucket?
I do, shouted Blinkie Pie
What
in
bucket?
her usual unnecessarily abrupt voice. She carried over the metal bucket in her mouth and set it next to Applebloom. There you go, Sugar Cube, she said, impersonating Applejack, who lay limp with misery and hopelessness.
Great! Ready, Applejack?
Asked Applebloom, but Applejack merely stared solemnly at her, one last tear streaming from her remaining eye.
Here we go!
As the filly began disemboweling her, the other ponies hummed their little song, a smile on each of their faces. Applejack felt the urge to vomit as she saw her own organs being pulled from her, but Applebloom had just removed her stomach, so nothing but a small bit of blood came out. The humming started to fade and echo, as if she was moving away from the sound, and her vision became horribly blurry. Though it sounded as though she were underwater, she distinctly heard Applebloom say,
Bye-bye, sis. I love you.
Then her heartbeat became slower and slower, even as it was gently taken from her chest cavity. Applejack's head went limp, and she moved no more. Just then, a bright flash illuminated the room briefly, which nearly blinded the ponies because they had been so accustomed to the darkness. Once it had gone, all of the mares gasped, staring at Applebloom's flank. "What?" she asked, and then looked to see that, at last, after all this time, she got her cutie mark. It was a shiny red apple with a single green leaf, and there was a kitchen knife stabbed into it.
Wow! That was it, Applebloom!
Pinkie Pie squealed, hopping up and down.
Killing Applejack, give me your cutie mark! Killing Applejack, give me your cutie mark!
"Calm, sweet sister," said Inky Pie softly, putting a hoof on Pinkie's shoulder. Applebloom was so overwhelmed with happiness, she was crying, practically hugging her own flank.
After so long, after so much hard work,
She sobbed.
I finally got it! I finally got it!
Her teary eyes looked up at her friends, and then she rushed to them, crashing right into a group embrace. The mares were so proud of their little filly baker, it seemed like their hug would never end. However, after several minutes, Pinkie Pie was the first to break away.
Wait,
She said.
how are we going to explain what it is to every pony? Easy squeezy!
Derpy chirped.
Applebloom is just so good at cooking with apples.
The laughs and cheers of the bakers echoed through the dark basement as they began to clean up. Pinkie Pie was sitting at a table in the bakery with her three sisters, Derpy, Applebloom, Rarity, Fluttershy, and Twilight Sparkle, all enjoying the fresh-baked cupcakes. Applebloom had decorated each one with a thin slice of apple, which made them look even more tasty. "These are divine!" Rarity exclaimed, unable to keep herself from talking with her mouth full.
They better be.
Said Applebloom with a smile.
After all, they gave me my cutie mark.
She hadn't stopped admiring her mark since she had received it the previous day. "That certainly is an interesting one," said Twilight before eating the apple slice on her second cupcake.
Yep, but it's mine, and it's all I ever wanted.
Applebloom finalized with a proud nod. Fluttershy had been watching the other Pie sisters nervously, specifically Minky Pie. After a moment, she managed to tear her attention away from them and onto Applebloom.
Where's Applejack?
She asked.
Dunno,
Applebloom said with a shrug.
she said something about picking up some bales of hay from another farm. Haven't seen her since.
She's missing out on these delightful treats,
Said Rarity, sneaking a third cupcake from the plate in the center of the table.
I'll bring one home to save for her when she gets back.
Applebloom replied with a wide smile. No pony noticed this unsettling smirk except for Fluttershy, whose eyes widened slightly. It bore a striking resemblance to the smile she had seen on Minky Pie the first time they met. Looking around at the other bakers, she noticed that they were all wearing similar expressions of malicious triumph. It made the Pegasus feel uneasy.
I know I won't be able to fit in my summer dress now, but I just can't seem to resist
them, Rarity sighed as she ate an apple slice.
Better make it bigger, Rarity, because this sweet train makes no stops.
Pinkie Pie said with a giggle. Once again, Fluttershy noticed the creepiness of her smile. What was going on? Was she just imagining things? Just then, there was a very
Not Fluttershy, they're gonna kill
almost like a rabbit
Fluttershy.
sneeze. Minkie Pie wiped her nose gently, and every pony laughed, except Fluttershy.
That was adorable.
Twilight giggled.
She's so little and cute.
Minkie didn't acknowledge her, nor did she look up, but simply nibbled her own cupcake.
Look what you did, Twilight. You made her all shy.
Rarity cooed. They had both been trying to get used to Pinkie's sisters, choosing to focus on their good traits instead of their scary ones.
Minky, your mane is so long and lovely, you simply must
Oh,
let
that's
me style
Minky,
it
the one
sometime.
over there.
I bet you can make up a cute little dress for her too.
Said Applebloom happily. Minkie Pie blushed, hanging her head so that her mane covered her entire face.
How about it then?
Continued Rarity soothingly.
Can I dress you up?
Minkie Pie remained silent for a moment, but then let out a barely audible,
Okay.
We can always dress up.
cried Pinkie Pie.
Rarity makes the greatest clothes. I want to wear bubbles.
Said Derpy, clapping her hooves.
Then I can fly and look like bubbles floating.
Sounds fun, said Inky Pie with her eerie smirk.
We'll go right after we finish these cupcakes.
Said Twilight, and the others agreed. They continued to chat, but Fluttershy's eyes continued to scan the bakers' faces. Something was wrong. Something was very, very wrong.
Oh, no. It ends there? They're gonna kill Fluttershy because Fluttershy is gonna find out. And then that is so disturbing. And there's a whole bunch more. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Why did I go through this? I literally have shivers over my legs. That is so disturbing. I feel like I'm gonna barf. Oh god. Pinkie Pie's gonna follow them and then they're gonna have to kill Pinkie Pie. I'm not Pinkie Pie. Fluttershy. Oh. What's this one? The fun never ends. Oh great, yeah. Yay. Oh my god, that is so disturbing. Okay. So that was me reacting to Applebloom gets her cutie mark. I'm gonna hide underneath my blanket. Please don't hurt me, Pinkie Pie. Oh. God. Ew. That is so disturbing. But yeah, that was Applebloom gets her cutie mark. Yay. I want to know what happens next, but then again, I don't want to go through the puking sensation again. If you want to see other videos like this, leave whatever you want me to react to in the comments. Yay. And say if you like... Oh. Okay. Okay. But anyways, yeah. That's me reacting. Hope you like it. Yay. Zap Like Hat signing out. Bye.